What's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 7 of Inside Lines Podcast. I'm your host, Atoya Burleson. And yes, I did say lucky Season 7. I cannot believe it's been 7 seasons, but I'm so excited. I hope y'all enjoyed the off season. For us, it was relaxing. We were able to do a little vacationing. We were in France. We went to Cannes. We went to Paris to see Beyonce. I was able to go to LA and hang with my husband and then spend some time with my family in Arizona. So an amazing off season. Now it's been the grind of sports and volleyball camps and my boys with football camp. So that is where we are. Welcome to August. I hope you all enjoyed your summer as well. But now, let the NFL drama begin. Let's talk about it. The former executive director of the NFLPA, Lloyd Howell Jr., has resigned from his position after reports surfaced of his expense reports, which allegedly included charges to multiple strip clubs. Yes. Multiple strip clubs with numerous ATM withdrawals. Apparently, he was inviting players on some of these quote-unquote field trips, and the NFL is now working to find a new interim executive director because obviously he was too busy doing other things and not doing his job. So he is out, and they are working to find someone else. On a brighter note, we are gearing up for our 5th season of fantasy football. And I was thinking about what could we do differently. We've had over 50 women join together and play. I think it's at one point, I think we had close to 70. It was like 60 something women. So we've had so many women join and learn and play the game with us. And so in celebrating 5 seasons, we are welcoming our top 20 all-stars to compete all season long and crown the all-star champ for the 2025 season. So if you think you are an all-star, meaning you've had to play before, you've done well on our fantasy football team, slide into our DMs or check your email because you might have received an email about it. If you're interested, slide in our DMs, hit us up on Instagram, or you can email us at hello@insidelinespodcast.com. And guess what we've also done? We thought, okay, 7 seasons of Inside Lines podcast and now 5 fantasy football seasons. We thought we got to do something different. So we created a color rush just for y'all. That's right. We changed up the colors for season 7 and they are amazing. Y'all check it out and let us know what you think. Okay, moving on to a new segment called Make It Make Sense. These are things that don't make sense to me and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about things that bother me. Let me give you some context here. They call me the Black Danica because I've been whipping my car since the 90s, y'all. I can get to where I need to go quickly. I make sure my kids get there quickly and safely, whether it's a sporting event, a birthday party, my own appointments. And listen, a road trip, don't talk about a road trip because I'm definitely beating whatever Waze says or Google Maps says. Whatever time they tell me, I'm at least beating it by a minute. I don't know, maybe it's the track girl in me, but it's a race at all times. But make it make sense. Why when you're driving, someone pulls up and they look out, they see you're coming, they know you're moving fast because they're at a standstill and they still decide to pull out in front of you and then drive slow? I mean, make it make sense. Why can't you just wait until I pass and then pull out? Or if you're going to pull out, you better be ready to hit the gas. No one's dealing with that. Don't pull out in front of someone when they are driving fast down the road. Wait your turn. It is so annoying and it drives me crazy. Does anybody else get irritated when people do this? Make it make sense. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Okay, so there's also a new segment called It's Debatable. This segment is for all the couples, all the friends, all the family that get into serious debates. And it doesn't have to, it can be something light. We all have our opinions and we swear we're always right. This is one debate where I want you to chime in and let me know what you think. I'm going to start light. This first debate is, since we're in August and it's preseason and training camp season, let's talk about football. Tell me your favorite football movie you've ever seen. I've gone back and forth on this with my husband, with my friends, and we all have our favorites. But tell me which one you choose. I'm going to give you 5 options. There's the old school football movie called Rudy. That was like made in the early 90s. I don't even know if some of y'all have seen it. There's also Remember the Titans. Denzel Washington's in that. There's also Friday Night Lights. That's all about just a Texas town. They're obsessed with football in Texas. So this kind of goes over that. And then there's Any Given Sunday with Jamie Foxx. And then finally, The Blind Side, which is a heavily debated movie based on a true story of Michael O'Hare. So tell me your favorite. Is it Rudy, Remember the Titans, Friday Night Lights, Any Given Sunday, or The Blind Side? Let us know your thoughts. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Okay, so on our first episode of season 7, we are about to introduce our W.A.G. Unleashed. This episode is called W.A.G.s Unleashed. She is our first NFL wife that we're having on for season 7. Enjoy. On the show today, she's a fashion and lifestyle influencer. She's a media host. She's on Netflix reality series W.A.G.s to Riches, and she is the founder and CEO of 702Swim. Please welcome to the show, Sade Vanessa.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so excited.
I am so excited.
And we're here.
It's been fun watching you. I feel like you've done so many amazing things. And let's just start with the most recent, and then we can kind of work through everything else. Okay, so congratulations to you. I just said you are the founder and CEO of 702 Swimwear. Talk about your vision behind that, how it came about.
Okay, well, thank you so much. 702, it honestly came about just by living in South Florida. I feel like I'm always in a bathing suit by default because, it's sun, it's water. I'm a Cancer sign. Shout out to the Cancers.
It's my daughter.
Well, water sign, yeah. And it just kind of got to a point where people would reach out to me a lot about modeling for their swimwear. And Robbie actually gave me the idea. He's like, why don't you just start your own? I'm just like, it's actually not a bad idea. So it was a long time coming. It was such a journey. I went through so many different, manufacturers, cut and sew, just trying to perfect it because anything that I do, I really want it to be authentic and good quality, good material. Because I feel like people are spending their hard-earned money. I want them to get something of substance. So yeah, it was really fun and just picking through and designing and the fabrics, and it was very interesting. I sat on it for 3 years.
Okay.
And I was like, girl, what are you doing? And we all, can sometimes fall victim to procrastinating. And one day, I think it was right before I launched. I ended up getting into a car accident. I'm okay, thank the Lord. But I couldn't walk for 2 months. Not that anything crazy happened to me, but just I ended up messing up my back and I was having a little bit of trouble walking. And I feel like God had sat me still and was like, okay, this is the time you don't have nothing to do. You in the bed, get up and figure it out and get it done. And that's exactly what I did. So I finally put it together and we launched in March, 2021, I believe. No, I'm lying. That's bad, girl. You the CEO. You don't even know when you launched. We launched in March. No, it was 2023. Duh. We launched on 3/23/23. And yeah, it's just been great. And we just launched our second collection and it's one pieces. So yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Okay, so with 702, you decided to launch the one pieces. Were you intentional about that? You want to do something different? How did that come about?
No, I was super intentional about it just because I feel like different women like different things. And I definitely don't want to cater to just one kind of woman because we're all different. And, not everybody's going to want to have their booty out on the beach. And some people want to be covered up and some people want to have, the skin out. So just wanted to make sure that I cater to, all body types and all sizes.
And what was your mindset behind what to choose? Because, swimwear, there's so many colors and fabrics. How did you narrow it down?
Well, I narrowed it down. I knew I wanted something that popped and was fun.
Okay.
And I knew I also wanted something that was simple. And I knew I wanted something that could cater to like summertime and like the colors. So what I did with the pop was the snake print, which was the first drop in collection. And what I did with the simple was the one pieces because they're just black and white. And then for the other pieces, because I ended up just getting a bunch of inventory. So for the other ones that I have coming soon, they're more on like the colorful, like just a sneak peek. They're like the purples and the yellows and the greens. So like really fun. Yeah, the thing that I had in my head was like sorbet colors. So like a sorbet summer was kind of the vibe for that. So
That's super cute. I love that idea. We can't wait to see that. But I want to talk about, okay, so you've known this for a while. You wanted to do this. So when you decide on designs, is that something like you think through? Like, do you have a beta group of people? How do you decide? You said for sure you wanted to do one pieces. But even in that, there's one pieces at the high cut. There's one pieces, that go up the butter, more like what they call it, like a modern,
like
where it
cheeky,
kind of cheeky.
or like
Yeah.
knees.
Yeah. How do you decide? Because there's so many options.
I think for me, throughout the process, like that 2 to 3 year process where I was just like all ideas, I was just looking through different things. I would put together, like mood boards of things that I liked or swim that I have worn before, but also seeing like what people lean into, what are the trends, what do people not like, and also seeing like what is oversaturated that I can stay away from. Just because I don't want anyone to, no shade, but like find like my pieces or replicas on like Shein or like AliExpress. So I just was really like intentional about making sure it was something different. And yeah, it was just me and Robbie. Okay, we are a 2-man band
I
in the
love
Lord.
it.
And yeah.
I love that he came up with that idea and you ran with it and he's supporting you. It's important to have someone that has your back. So shout out to Robbie as well. I want to talk, you mentioned it. You talked about you modeled. How did modeling even come about? And what did you think when you first were presented with the opportunity?
You know what? That's so funny that you asked me that. I get like, oh my gosh, in my head about it because that's something that I really always wanted to do when I was younger. And I was so shy. Like no one believes this to this day. Me and my mom talk about it all the time. She's like, I can't believe you do all these things and you were the shyest kid. So I was always really, really shy, but I always knew that I wanted to be in like entertainment and modeling and obsessed with Disney Channel and just really wanting to figure out how I can, get into that. So when I was younger, I would beg my mom, like, can you take me to this modeling agency? Can you take me to this casting? Of course, they were all scam. And they were like, oh, you have to pay us $500 to get your headshots or do this. My mom's like, I'm not doing that. Like, so as time went on, I learned that, and this is to anyone watching and you want to model, you want to get your kids into model, anywhere that charges you up front is not legit. And the agencies essentially, they get paid based off of what you book, So once I learned that, I was like, okay, so I got signed to an agency when I was probably like 19, 18, and they would send me out on so many castings, but I was so shy and I used to have like the biggest SpongeBob gap. So I would never want to smile. So they'll say, okay, do your profile. And so I'm like this, and they're like, okay, are you going to smile? And I'm like, and they're like, no, girl, like you got to actually, So I feel like when I did it when I was younger, I was super shy and like scared to do anything. And I would get so many auditions, but I would trash all of them because I was so like, So it was cool. But the older I got and after I got Invisalign, honey, I was like, okay, we could do this. Like, hey girl. And then I just like the confidence just skyrocketed after that.
So you're like, once I get this Invisalign, I'm taking off.
Yeah, because SpongeBob is not cute. We love SpongeBob, but the SpongeBob gap was not cute. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, everybody could not wait for this show to come out called Wags to Riches. We saw so many different clips, and I remember going to the opening and watching the premiere. Or going to the premiere thinking I was going to watch it there, but I did not get to watch it there. So I'm like, okay, I want to go home and sit and watch it because I was waiting because I thought I was going to watch it there.
I thought so too.
Okay. So I wasn't alone there. That's fair. And then I got home and I watched it. And I said to myself, okay, we got to talk. Tell me your experience and what you thought about, sitting back and watching it after the fact.
Okay, so well, my experience was very interesting considering the fact that I was in my first trimester and pregnant and didn't even know until right before we started filming. But it was very interesting. It was definitely not what I expected. I was super excited to do it. And I think going into it, we're like, oh my God, it's going to be great. But then like as time progressed, it was like, wait, is this how it goes for real? Like this isn't really too nice, So it kind
Yeah.
of, I still enjoyed it, and I'm super, super grateful for the opportunity. And it's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's like goal list checked. And I would definitely do another TV show. I just feel like the circumstances would have to be a little bit different, just because I feel like a lot of the things that were presented weren't shown in the final product, and a lot of things that we filmed that were very of substance were not in the final shot, which kind of made the show lack substance, in my personal opinion. But I would say watching it, I was like, oh my gosh. First of all, I did not know that I was going to open the show. I turned that TV on, I pressed play. I said, oh my gosh, that's me. So that alone was like, okay, hey girl, even if you don't watch the whole show, you see me. So a win is a win. Um, so I was really happy about that. And, just watching it, it was very interesting to see, how it was chopped up and how it was edited. Some things I agreed with, some things I didn't. And I think that overall it was cool. I think that watching it as a viewer, I was kind of like, okay, now what? Like, waiting for kind of like more. Like, I feel like, especially with the intros, I think that they could have did a little bit of a better job introducing us to the audience because, people don't know who we are. And I think that was just my producer hat also in my head. So
Yeah,
you
of
produce, we
course.
produce, like we know how, certain things should be done. So I think that we could have been a little bit better with the intros and just the stories because even though like we all had like our drama, we each also have such unique stories. And I think that would have been really cool to really highlight versus like he say, she say, this person, that person.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like there should have been a better introduction to what each of you had going on, just to really understand your backstories, your families, all of the things that, quite frankly, make you you. I felt like that part was missing for sure. And I think it really did go straight to the drama, which was surprising to me because you would think with the name Wags to Riches, it was going to show this entrepreneurial spirit, these women that worked hard, that collaborated. And so it was very interesting to see how they spend it and made it about like he say, she say. Now, I know drama happens. We all know that. Part of that happens, but that should not have been the entire storyline. That's what I felt about it.
I 100% agree. And I think one of the biggest bummers, in my personal opinion, was that they didn't. I feel like it kind of misrepresented WAGs, and as being one, and obviously you are one, and I just think that it just, in my opinion, we weren't represented right. I would say essentially half of the cast are not even WAGs in real life, if we're being honest, or it's like a ex situation or a child's father situation versus like being really in that life, or someone who's like retired or has been retired for X amount of years versus like touching on the things that I feel like a lot of people don't get to see. And I think that was something that I was really excited about, was bringing a light to that. And I think that a lot of people who were looking for that got a little disappointed because it's like, wait, I thought we were going to see like the football stuff, like, which was
Yes.
so sad because I thought so too. But I think that it's okay. And, I think that there's still a way that, me especially, that I'll still be able to use my platform and show that because I always have. And like, I think some people kind of think that, oh, it's just like a trend or like a hashtag or it's like a niche. But it's like, no, like this is our life. Like, this has been my life for the last 9 years. And I think it was something that was said on the show. I think one of the girls said it, oh, these are the newbies. It's like, nah, like this has literally been my life for 10 years. Like, ain't nothing new. I'm sure like this is what it is, So I think that was kind of like the biggest thing as a viewer that, like, what is it like getting ready for games? Like, what is it like
Yes.
with the off season? Like, how do you deal with free agency? How do you deal with injuries? Like, there's so much more substance that I wish we could have highlighted, but
Yeah, I agree. And I wish they would have done a better job of showing, I think about myself and being on the, the OG side, the older side. I felt like it was like the younger girls pit against the older girls. I didn't really like that as well. I was like, I know that there's going to be, things that people disagree on, but to make it out like that was just the entire show, I was just like, now I know there had to be some times when they got along now. Come on.
And we did. We did have those moments. I would say we definitely had them more early on with filming. And of course, like as the show and drama progressed, it was like, okay, well, y'all over there and we over
We
here.
over here.
But yeah, we had a good time. It was overall a good time.
Were you able to, with what they showed and like, to your point, showing kind of the separation, when it ended, were you all able to at some point talk about it or come together or kumbaya or find some closure, or like, has that happened?
Yes and no. I feel like it has with like some of the ladies. Some of them hate each other's guts. They don't want nothing to do with each other. Yeah, but some of us is just like very cordial. I think of course like a lot of us saw things for the first time when we watched it. Like,
Oh,
I
right.
didn't know. Yeah, so we watched the show with the world. So we don't know what is in it. We don't know what's edited. We don't know what this person filmed when they weren't with us. So I think seeing it and like hearing some of the things that some people said like when you weren't around was kind of like messed up. And I hate the fact that people are trying to blame it on the edit, but it's like the edit can't make you say that.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so I think that, it's all love on my end. I don't hate anyone. I don't have no issues. I know what you did. I know what you didn't do, and I know how to move. So that's just kind of my thing.
That's good. Is there one thing that you wish that they would have put in that they spent time recording? You like, dang it, I really thought that they were going to put this in there.
Yes, I have several, but the most important thing for me would be I filmed a fashion show that I actually hosted in Miami. Hosted the entire fashion show, but also was running backstage getting models dressed in 702Swim to then come back out on the fashion show and do the entire show, intermissions, introduce the other artists, introduce everyone that's coming out and simultaneously getting them ready, then introducing my own brand, which kind of tied into the hosting side and the swimwear side. It was so hot. It was a packed out show. Like, it was so great. And I was so excited because I was like, this is what I can't wait to see. And when I watched that show and I did not see that fashion show, I was so hurt. I was like, what? Like, where is... Like, this is what the show is supposed to be about, like this is what was pitched. Like, we want to get y'all working and being bosses. And I don't feel like any of my work was kind of represented. And I think that even like on the bottom, it says like swimwear designer, but it's like, no, like there's so many other things that I do. Like, swimwear is just one, and even if that is swimwear designer, there's no other clips of me designing swimwear. So it was a little like, sad, but it's okay. I got the clip. I'm still post it.
That's what I was going to say. Make sure you send it so we can just post a little something in there so people can see. Okay, so we're going to go back a little bit. You ready? Mm-hmm. So talk about where you grew up and like, do you have siblings? Like, how did little Sade grow up? What is she about that made her into this young boss woman that you are now?
So I'm from New York.
Okay.
Shout out to New York. I was born in Jamaica, Queens, raised in Brooklyn. And then I moved to Florida when I was about 8. So I've been here most of my life, but I'm still New York. Don't let my mama ever hear me say I'm from Florida. She will be like, girl, you're from New York. Don't forget it. So, it's in me. But, so just growing up down here, and I think just seeing... I don't know. I've just, ever since I was in New York, I was just always obsessed with like TRL and 106 in Park. And when I moved down here, I was just like, come home every single day, run to the TV and watch Wendy Williams, watch E! News, like watch all of those things. And like, I am like, from that young age, like anything pop culture was like my vibe. Like the M magazines and like the posters, like it was all... It was just something that I felt like, wow, like I could totally do this. And then Hannah Montana came out and I'm just like, wait, is this like pop star vibes? Like, so it was kind of like a mixture of different things, but it all kind of stemmed into entertainment. And I felt like, okay, like I really love this. But it's like at a young age, I didn't realize that I loved it. It was just like, I ate, what do you say? Eat, breathe, and sleep it.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I felt. And then as I got older, like I would be in school and I would just sit there and I'd be like, I don't want to do any of this. Like, I want to do like the stuff that they do. I want to do like Lala and like Terrence J, like those kind of people and those kind of things. And so it's just so crazy now to see that I literally like manifested a lot of the things that I wanted. But honestly, it was just by like at a young age knowing that these were like the spaces that I wanted to be a part of, if that makes sense.
I love that you were that young and all of the things that you were passionate about became your purpose. That's so cool to see and hear because a lot of people have those passions, but they don't necessarily know how to fuel them. And you figured that out, which is amazing.
Yeah, and still figuring it out, honestly. And I don't even know how I figured it out at this point. Shout out to the Lord, because I have no clue, but I'm just grateful. And yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we got to talk about how you and Robbie met because you met him in Florida as well, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, we got to hear the story.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We met in the club. In the club, we all fam. So yeah, we met at a party. I was 15 in the club. But it was like an all age party, so I get a hall pass. So yeah, so we met there, and he was just eyeing me from across the room, and I'm like, "Who is this light skinned thing over there looking at me?" And I was just like, "Okay." So he just kept like, trying to get my attention or whatever. And I think at one point I walked over there and like said something to him. I don't know. And then like the night progresses, and I turn back around. This man takes his shirt off, like trying to flex in the club with his built-in abs. He still got them too. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then long story short, it was like this whole thing. And I guess like it was like a commotion that happened inside of the club, and he ended up having to leave because he took his shirt off. And then I was like, I turned around after like the commotion. I was like, where did he go? Like, what happened? And I didn't see him. So I just thought, okay, bye. Like, continue with my night. So when we left, we went to like the gas station outside, and he was sitting outside, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the guy. So I go over to him, and like we're talking. He's like telling me like they told him to leave because of his shirt and all this stuff. I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh, what's your name? So, oh, can I hang out with you? Like, I really want to hang out with you. And I'm like, you're a stranger. I'm not hanging out with you. And he was just he was super adamant. And I'm just like, why are you so pressed? So he was like, oh, I really want to hang out with you. Like, I'm leaving tomorrow. And I was like, okay. I was like, no, you can take my Facebook because this is before Instagram was a thought. And so he's like, okay, well, can we go to the beach? Like, can we it's like 3 a.m. And I'm like, no, because you're not going to kill me. But again, like, here's my socials, and I will see you when I see you. So he was just like really adamant about the fact that he was leaving. And long story short, the next day is when he left to go to college, to go to Temple in Philadelphia. And so we just kept in contact over like time, and like he would write me on Facebook, and then Snapchat came out. He would write me on Snapchat, and then probably like 3 years, like almost 4 years later, he would send me like videos on his Snapchat of him playing football. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, okay. So he would send me like, I guess like practice or like actual games. And then one day he invited me. He was like, oh, do you want to come to my football game? And I was like, well, where is it? And he's like, oh, it's in Boca. And at the time I had a podcast with 2 other people. And he was like, oh, you can bring your friends, like, whatever. And I was like, y'all want to go to a football game? They're like, okay. So the 3 of us, we went, and it ended up being his last college football game. It was a Boca Bowl. And we've been together ever since. So it was just like crazy because I was like, oh my God, it was raining. They lost. I was standing in the rain. I was like, okay, what? And my friends was like, girl, you better really like this man. Like, we're going to stand in the shade. And I'm just like, I don't want him to think I left. So I'm just standing there. And then afterwards, like we spoke, and like we obviously like dated, and then like we talked, and then we got serious. And then he ended up going to the Jets. And then it was like, oh, okay, wait, we going to Jersey? Like, what's happening? So it was very like crazy how we met and how everything transpired. But it really goes back to that, like college football, like standing in the rain, like to now, it's like, what, like, it's just crazy to me how like the time has gone. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cute story.
That's a super cute story. And I love how consistent he was. He was just always sending stuff. He's like, I'm gonna get this one. I'm about to get this one. He was serious.
He says this, and I feel like he's just saying it to say it, but he's like, I told my friend in the club that night that I was going to marry you and that you were my wife, and I'm like, okay. And then he's like, ask him. So I asked his friend, and I'm just like, okay. But no, he says it all the time, so I think he really did say that.
Okay, tell us about the proposal.
Oh my gosh, the proposal was so cute. We went to Santa's Enchanted Forest, and it was like around Christmas time. It was like the lights and the trees, and it was really, really cute. And the whole time he was just acting real weird. So I kind of had a feeling that something was gonna happen, but I didn't know. But then when we got there, because we pulled up in a Sprinter, I'm like, why are we taking a Sprinter to Santa's Enchanted Forest? But we pulled up in a Sprinter, and as soon as they opened the door, there's like a camera guy, and there's a camera guy and then there's someone else recording. And I'm just like, okay, like we making a vlog, like I guess. So we get inside and we're just like walking around, but he's like acting real shy and nervous the whole time. And then at one point I tried to like hold his hand and put my hand in his pocket, and he's just like, I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna propose? And then in my head, I'm like, no, he's not gonna do this. So I kind of was on to him the whole time. And so then he just like kept walking around in circles. And I'm like, are we gonna go on a ride? Are we gonna eat? Like, I want a funnel. I'm like, can I go get a funnel cake? And I had on all black. And he's like, no, don't eat that yet. And I'm like, he's gonna propose. He doesn't want me to dirty my outfit. Like, it's in my head, yeah, I'm like putting the pieces together because I'm an FBI agent. So I'm like, he doesn't want to go on here. He doesn't want to do this. He wants me to say cute. And then like our thing at the time was like 11:11, like make a wish, like super cute. So I'm looking at the clock. And it's like 11:09. He's like, oh, let's go this way. And I'm like, okay. So we go to like this area. They have like this big pink heart and like all this stuff. And he's just like, oh, let's just sit down for a second. And so we sit, and it's just like, he's just like trying to kill time. And then literally like, I looked at the clock, it was 11:10. And then he stands up and I'm like, yo, what is happening right now? And like, he literally just was staring at me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, wow, this is about to happen. Like, is this a joke? I was in my head having a whole conversation. And he was just, poor man, he was looking so scared. I was like, oh my gosh. But it was so cute. And then 11:11 came, and then he proposed, and then he got on his knee, and I was like, and it's like he kind of froze, like he didn't know what to say. And I was like, and he's just standing there and I'm just like, and he's like, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna ask me? I'm like, you want me to help you? And then he's like, yeah. And then he asked me, and I was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. And so it was really, really cute. And then ironically enough, that same weekend, we hosted like our families in Charlotte for Christmas. So it was really special to have like us get proposed to, like us get engaged, and then like 2-3 days later, now we're with all of our family for Christmas, and it was super cute. And then he surprised me with a G-Wagon. I said, wait, what is happening? It was just like a really interesting, fun, beautiful time.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
He's a romantic, and I love how nervous he was. That means it really matters. So
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. Yeah, it was so cute.
He thought it through. That's beautiful. Okay, so you guys have a beautiful, beautiful little girl, and I don't know how often you talk about her, but I've seen like the cute little posts that you've done. Talk about being a mom now. What is that experience like for you?
So I was super, super nervous when I found out that I was pregnant, because I was like, oh my gosh. And then I also found out I was pregnant 4 days before we started filming the show. So I was like, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? Because the one thing that I was always nervous to do, you just gave me when you gave me the one thing I've always wanted in life, which is like, okay, what is happening? But I'm so grateful for it because, one, first of all, I'm obsessed with her. She's the sweetest and the cutest. And look, sneak peek. I'm going to show you. Look at my baby.
She's gorgeous.
That's my charming girl. And she's 7 months already, which is crazy because I'm like, girl, you were just born. But she's just like the best, and I'm so obsessed with her. But I also feel like the timing of it is crazy. But I think that now that I have time to reflect, I'm so grateful because I think that I needed to go into the show with a sober mind and just like a very still mind because I know myself. And I was excited. I was like, well, I'm about to have a lemon drop. I'm about to be turned. But now that like I've done it, it's like, no, girl, if you would have had a lemon drop, you would have probably acted a little crazier. And I feel like God was probably like, okay, I'm going to give you this platform, but I want you to be in your most still mind so that you can see like who's for you, who's not. Like, you know how to move, you know how to, you know, and have the right discernment. So I'm super grateful that that happened. Now, morning sickness during filming was no joke, but you know, it's been a great experience being a mom. It's so crazy. I still look at her and I'm like, are you real? Like, where did you come from? Like, are you mine? So it's, but it's so cool.
Motherhood, you know, it's one of those unexpected things where you do so many things, you have so many dreams for your life, but when you have something that just came from you, that you literally made bones in your body and that baby comes out, you're like, it's just something different. It's like, this is the most amazing experience I've ever encountered that I didn't even know I needed. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay, so you were able to premiere on Good Morning Football, which is so amazing. Tell us about that experience and how it came about. Talk about, just going out there and sitting down amongst everyone and talking about yourself.
Yeah. Well, for starters, Robbie had got approached to do a segment on Good Morning Football. It's been the off season, and he's been like tapping into his on screen presence, and I'm like, okay. So he got approached to do it, and one day he was talking to his publicist at the time, and she was like, oh, we're gonna have you do Good Morning Football, da, da, da. And they're like, oh, Sade, if you want to come too, you're more than welcome. And I kind of put on like my big girl pants, and I was just like, well, can I do it too? I am a host. Like, I would like to. I know football. It's part of my life for the last 10 years. Like, I know what to talk about, and I love it. Like, do you think like they would be down for me to like do something, even if it's like play a game, like, or something fun? And she's like, you know what? Let me ask them. And then like 2 days later, she texted me and she was just like, oh my gosh, they totally love the idea of bringing you on. And I was like, holy shit, what did I just do? Like, I was so scared, and I was like, but you got to shoot your shot sometimes. And so that's what I did. I shoot my shot. And they were like, oh, we'd love to bring you on for a segment. And, so we had like a few calls, and they were like, oh, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about that. And I was so nervous. And I was like, wow, Sade, like, what did you sign up for? But I'm so glad that I did it. And it's so crazy because I literally throughout like Robbie's entire career have loved watching good ball. I say good ball. I've loved watching Good Morning Football, but honestly, it's because of Nate. And it's like, shout out to you and shout out to Nate, because I kid you not, like when Robbie first got into the league, like it would be on nonstop. And like the more I watched it, it's like when I first got familiar with it. And I promise you, I'm like, who is this man? Like, he's so good at what he does. And like as a host, like, when you're a host, you can kind of like, you kind of visualize like how like things are going behind the scenes. And it's just like the effortlessness, I would say, and like how he brought so much fun and like personality to the show, I really love. So like when Robbie would watch it, and then he's been on it a couple times, I'd be like, oh my God, this is so cool. So it's just so funny like how full circle things are now, because like, to see it then and then to now be a part of it when it's actually something that I genuinely enjoyed watching is so cool. But also for you, and like shout out to you and shout out to your husband and shout out to your family, because you guys are doing such amazing things. And also like to see like the growth that you guys have had from then up until now. And I'm just like, okay, like that's what I'm talking about. Like, so yeah, I was really, really excited for it. And even with this, I was really excited to talk to you, just to tell you that, and like to give your husband also his flowers, because he made a sports fan of a show out of a female who like didn't even care to watch sports shows. So
that's so I will definitely let him know. He'll love to hear that. I remember, I heard you and you said, he's trying to figure out what he wants to do next. And so he was thinking about media. And I remember when Nate similarly was like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. I love media. I love talking in front of a camera. And so when he got presented, we were on the West Coast still, and they said, we want to start a new show in New York called Good Morning Football. And I was like, we're moving to the East Coast? Like, I remember all of it like yesterday. So yeah, to see it full circle and to see like young you and Robbie on there, like, I think it's beautiful. And I think this is why we do what we do, and so I will definitely share that with Nate. And if Robbie, if you guys ever have any questions or want to reach out, like, you always know that we're always here. So just know that for sure.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to play one quick game to wrap it up. It's called the 2-minute drill. And I know your football. I know
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Okay.
Coffee run or green juice?
Oh my gosh, coffee. I'm going to get coffee after this.
Tell us your favorite football team.
Oh my gosh, it was the Patriots until Tom Brady retired. So I still say the Patriots. I really like the Bills too.
Okay. Luxury fashion or elevated basics?
That's so hard. I'm a sweatpants girl, but I'm a Louis girl. Can I say both?
No.
I don't know. I would say elevated basics. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Okay. It's third down. You have the ability to run it in. You're on the 3-yard line, or you're going to throw it. What are you going to choose?
Oh, I'm going to run it so that I can throw it later.
Okay, there you go. I like that answer. That's good.
Yeah.
A morning quiet time or late night creative burst?
Oh, late night creative burst. I'll be up till 3 a.m. in my office just thinking of ideas for sure.
Wow. Okay, I never leave the house without
Oh, lip gloss and glitter.
Content that you love to make the most.
Oh, that's hard. Definitely vlogs. Get ready with me. It's like anything where I can take people in to my world and just show them what I'm doing, for sure.
Tell us your hidden talent.
That's so hard. A lot of people don't know I'm very funny. And that's like one of those things where it's kind of cringe because it's like, I feel like if you call yourself funny, you're really not. But like, I don't think people think of me and they think like I'm actually a comedian. And I really love to sing and no one knows that. So.
Okay, so like an album, a single, what we got coming up?
We could do a little nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Because then people gonna start asking. We're gonna say, "What's the budget?"
Yes, yes. Tell us the best advice you've ever received.
The best advice that I've ever received is, this is gonna sound crazy, but to not take advice from someone who is not doing the things that they're trying to advise you on.
That's great advice. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if you could tell little Sade anything, what would you tell her?
I would tell her we did it, Joe. Like, to keep going. I would tell her that everything that you are talking about right now, you are doing it. But I would tell her, girl, you need to hop on YouTube now, not later. And yeah, that's what I would tell her. I would tell her to hop on YouTube, and I would tell her to look into the things now that we have going on, but to do it then so that maybe I could create AI or something crazy. Yeah.
I love it. That's beautiful. Sade, you are amazing. If people want to get a hold of you, where do they find you?
Thank you so much. You guys can follow me on all platforms at Sade Vanessa, Sade Vanessa. And yeah, just stay tuned for all the fun things that I have coming up.
Yeah, I would ask you what's next, but you already said there's you only given us a sneak peek, but I can't wait to see what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun things. I'm really excited.
We'll be cheering you on the whole way. Congratulations on all the things you're doing, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. You're so sweet. And thank you for having me. I'm so glad that we were able to do this.
What a fun conversation. Thank you so much, Sade, for joining us on this episode of W.A.G.s Unleashed and sharing your life with all of us. Your insights on business and motherhood and marriage are a perfect way to kick off our new season. Y'all make sure to get her swimwear and remember to follow her and follow us on TikTok and IG at Inside Lines Podcast and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. Also, don't forget to tell me what your favorite football movie is. Thank you so much for joining us on Inside Lines Podcast. Remember to stay strong but soft, confident and classy, and make the world a better place, one play at a time. I'm your host, Atoya Burleson, and I'll see you next time.